pushing that to YouTube. As soon as that shows up, I can mute it. All right, good morning, everybody. Record here. Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is Friday, February 7th, 2020. It is episode 350. I still giggle at that number. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing day. Natalie Rivera, are you the one that I just liked an Instagram post this morning? Is that the same Natalie?
Yeah, that's me. You just like blew up my DMs liking all my stuff.
Natalie, I'm going to hug you 2 minutes.
Okay. It was Stan. Well, we all said we were going to give you a hug, obviously, when we met you, but we were laughing because Stan was like, I'm going to hug him for a whole minute. And we're like, a whole minute, a whole 60 seconds, so specific.
Yeah. Well, it's here's the thing. I have had some hugs like that internationally and stuff where language was a barrier, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you too. I wanted to ask you, like, do you like still tour and do events and things like that? Like, where can we find, how to meet you and stuff?
Yeah. It's with Mason. The last couple of years of his high school, I've decided to be a little bit more of a home dad. But there are some events that I am planning to do, and because of y'all, I may just go spend a day in town someplace.
Okay.
Figure that out for sure.
Sounds good. Just keep us updated. We'll be here.
Awesome, Natalie. I appreciate it. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday morning. I hope you're warm. I know some places up north are getting some snow handed to them right now and some cold weather. So I hope that you're safe. I hope if you've got to travel out there, you're going to be safe today. As you come on board, if you go ahead and send out your three messages to those you love, those you care about. There's Steph. Hey, Steph, how are you? Thanks for putting me up in your Sundays with Steph. Love you guys so much. Appreciate you. Send out your three messages, and in the chat, if you're done with them, go ahead and just type in D if you're done with your three messages, whether you schedule them or sent them out. Or if you send out more than three, you can type an M. That would be cool. Today's conversation, taking inventory. I've been watching a lot of your different posts and different things that you do. I do my best to try to keep up with y'all. There's a lot to keep up with. I'd encourage you to take a breath today and take some inventory. Take some inventory of what you've done, what you've accomplished. You know, we overestimate what we can do in a week. We underestimate what we can do in a year. Some of you, I know, for a year, you've done some amazing things, absolutely wildly amazing things in a year. Things you never saw happen, things that you never saw possible. It's things you've wanted, but I'd encourage you to take some inventory today. And when I say take inventory, I literally mean write it down. Hey, there's Crystal. Hey, Crystal, I love your Eckhart Tolle conversation in the car talk. Absolutely love it. I think that's going to be amazing. I love that you're reading it the second time. So I'm very proud of you for doing that. Not to mention, you just look absolutely amazing. Who wouldn't want to watch you? And then they get to learn from that beautiful brain as well. So thanks, Crystal. Love your time. So here's the point. Take your inventory. And I literally mean that. What books have you read? Write them down. Write them down. What books have you read? Some of you have read a whole bunch of books. Here's the challenge. Some of you can't remember some of the books you read. You got them as a notch on a belt. You quote, you killed the book, you read it, but do you even remember the title? So I'm going to ask you today, you might be surprised. It might give you some It might give you some incredible conviction, confidence. It might give you some incredible confidence when you realize all of the things that you've done. See, I forget on a regular basis that I'm an author. That Sean G. Murphy, author, doesn't quite have a ring to it in my head. There's people that only know me as an author. They don't know what else I do. They bought the book, they got the book, somebody shared the book, they read my story, and they go, wow, he's an author. I forget that I have 3 #1 Amazon best-selling books. We forget to take inventory of our own successes. Now, that's different than the exercise of write down 50 things you accomplished that were life-changing. I mean, it could be part of your inventory that you learned to walk, you learned to ride a bike, you learned to drive a car, you went on a plane for the first time by yourself. Right? One of my inventory assets is I drove nonstop to Vegas. Now, yeah, with the RBP over there, RPB, Ronda Bird-Parker, RBB, I had it right the first time. Drive 20 hours, 22 hours straight with that amazing soul. Talk about getting your God on. Talk about getting some awareness on. But those are things, now I have that experience. I probably won't ever forget that experience. That was life-changing for me. There and back. So my point is that what are some of the things that you would take inventory of? How many books have you read? See, the reason that I ask you to do this is because we live in a life of incremental growth. We're conditioned to incremental growth. We're conditioned to a 2% raise, a 3% raise. We're conditioned to losing 3 pounds a week, 4 pounds a week, 5 pounds in a week. That'd be a lot. We're conditioned to incremental growth. We're conditioned to enrolling 1 person, enrolling 2 people, enrolling 3 people, enrolling 4 people in a week. We're conditioned to our team enrolling 1 person, 2 people. The last day of the month is a fun day for us in this profession. January 31st, had 231 enrollments. That's not a bad day. 231 enrollments in one day. So I'm saying all of this to say, what is your inventory? When you start to look back at it, you'll look at how far you've come, and then I'm going to ask you to quantum leap that stuff. I'm going to ask you to say, hey, listen, here's what we can do with this. Here's what, if I've learned this now, if I have faith, how can I quantum it? How can I take the next jump without it being incremental? A quantum leap, a quantum jump. They talk about quarks. Quarks is the smallest known energy that they found. It's smaller than an electron, a neutron, a proton, and a crouton. It's a real small thing. And what they found is that quarks can be in both places. This is quantum physics. Now there may be something. This was, I don't know, 4 or 6 years ago that I learned about it, probably even longer. And they may have, because of technology, may have identified something even smaller now. But the point is that quarks could be in 2 places at once. The same quark. I know it sounds funny to say. You think they'd come up with a sexier name? They are scientists, though. So what happens is that they can move without crossing the time and space in between. And nothing really exists until we measure it. So when you start to take inventory of your stuff, I'm talking about what books you've read, what tapes you've listened to, how many seminars have you gone to? Could you imagine if you put that on your resume? If you were going to show, listen carefully, if you were going to show a prospect, if I was Bob Parks, who's like one of the founding misfits, if Bob Parks was to show his resume to somebody with how many events he's attended, how many books he's read, how many people he's interviewed, how many conversations he's had, how many times he's done trainings, how many times he's led trainings, how many times he's helped people have breakthroughs. And he just said, here's the 385 people I've helped in my career. Would you like to be 386? Do you think it would take away so much doubt and fear of your prospect? Because your prospect is living in a incremental world. You follow me? Your prospect is living in an incremental world. And you come along and say that they can learn a technology, they can take 2 pills, they can put some eye lift stuff on their face and the wrinkles be gone in 60 seconds. And they're like, oh, wow. And it works. It works because it's visual. The challenge is very few people believe you because you have nothing to show them. It's not that you don't have anything to show them. You choose not to show them. Good morning, Connie from Middle Tennessee. Is that like Middle Earth? The little people live there with big feet? Is this making sense? Take some inventory. How many of you are starting to take inventory right now and you just realized something? You realized something you've done that's pretty significant. You realize something you've done that maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit for. Maybe you're not letting the world see some of these amazing things that you've done. Is that making sense? When I was dealing with somebody who's helping me with some online marketing, they said, well, take an inventory of all your videos and all of your this and all of your that. About, I don't know, 8 years ago, maybe longer, I was doing something on Blog Talk Radio. And I would do a 30-minute conversation every day. And I think I did that for a year. We got like 40 hours of Blog Talk Radio audios. And they were pretty cool. They all started off with, hi, good morning and welcome to WIIFM. What's in it for me station? It is about 8:30 a.m. and welcome you. You've got your host, Sean Murphy. Today our conversation, and it was just 30 minutes of just rambling. I did a couple of interviews with people. But I've got 40 hours. I forgot I had 40 hours of that content. When people say, well, what were you like a long time ago? I can say, here's 40 hours of content you like to listen to. I promise you, there's a greatness inside of you that you've already tapped into, that you have been incrementally growing, that if you look back today and you take the snapshot, you take the quantum leap from when you first started your inventory list, meaning when the first inventory that you could put on that list to today, you've done more than most humans. I know that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. You've done more than most. And let's see, I don't know if she's on here. I don't see her on here. I bet that would be a great inventory for Nikki to do. We're talking about with her yesterday from Las Vegas. But I'm telling you, it would be an amazing thing for you to do, is to start to build this inventory list. Because it's only going to get bigger. You're only going to wind up adding more to it. So when I say this, when I share this concept with you, do you understand what you're going to be writing down? Do you understand it's going to take some introspection? Does it make sense why you do that? I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. I'd love to help you with it, because the second that you grasp this, it's almost game over. There's a level of confidence that builds inside of you almost instantly. There's a level of cool, calm, collected. There's a level of just suaveness and debonair that you can walk into a room with a memory of all of the trials that you've come through, all of the things that you've learned, all of the situations that you've become aware of. Have you had a miracle in your life? If you've had a miracle in your life, I don't know how we've ever been able to keep you quiet about it. And I think we've all had a miracle in our life. Have you ever had ahas in your life? Those ahas are important. The reason that you don't have them on a regular basis is because you store them away, you stuff them away, you put them in the dirty laundry hamper, hoping somebody else will find them. Latoya, you got your hand raised. How can we be of service? How can I be of service?
Yes, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I had raised it by accident. I didn't realize.
Okay.
You go ahead and finish.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. So, inventory. Where do you take it? Put it in your journal. I've got an Excel spreadsheet with all of my physical assets. I've got an Excel spreadsheet. So I've got my blogs, I've got my emails, I've got all of these things that are part of your inventory. I promise you, there's some things that you've forgotten that were pretty important in your life. You crossed over that bridge and you kept on walking. What were some of the bridges that you built in your life? What are some friendships that are no longer? What are some new friendships that have taken place? This inventory. How does a business determine its wealth? Seriously, how does a business determine its wealth? It looks at its cash, it looks at its expenses, it looks at its profits, and what does it pay taxes on? It pays taxes on its physical inventory. What are you paying taxes on? If you had to pay taxes on it, right now, some of you wouldn't have any taxes at all to pay because you don't think you have any inventory. It doesn't matter your age. I promise you, you have a tremendous inventory that you're not pulling from, that you're not using. And this inventory, it's like the everlasting gobstopper from Willy Wonka. It never goes away. It never loses its flavor. And sometimes we just haven't chewed it. So when I say this, let's have a conversation. Rhonda, when this comes up, what's going through your head? Double degree, super cardiologist, vascular something or other.
What are you saying? What's going through my head? What's going through my head is my conversation with you yesterday afternoon, and I probably sparked this deadgum conversation this morning with my crazy phone call to you yesterday evening. I guess some of the things I'm writing down, the last thing I wrote down just now was, how do I determine my wealth and what's my definition of wealth? And wealth has nothing in this context to do with money at all. At all. And so for everyone besides me and Sean, y'all weren't privy to my phone call last night with Sean yesterday. And I called him with my action taker. Stop laughing at me. With my action taker, like in full swing. Because I'm like, Sean, I know I can be more, and I know I've got it in me, and all this crazy talk. And I'm sitting here listening to you now, and I'm like, my gosh, everything that has changed in me in the past year is really unbelievable. In the past 3 months is crazy. And instead of sitting for a minute and thanking God for the changes, I just want to see more changes. So what is my definition of wealth? And if I don't know what wealth is, and I can't define what wealth is, then how am I ever going to know if I reached it? How am I ever going to know if I can go, okay, way to go, girl. So my mind is over here. I'm kind of giving myself, you know, I'm sorry. I'm in my bedroom and my cat's walking all over me. Get over here. Um, I'm kind of over here just kind of mentally slapping myself around because we have so many changes. We have so many blessings. We have so many things that come to us and we don't identify them because, for lack of better words, we kind of get greedy because we just want more. When sometimes we just need to be thankful for everything that we've already gotten. I have gotten so much in this past year. I'm sitting here I wrote down the word slow down. Just slow down and unlock your greatness and view and see. I said, see your greatness. And it's okay to breathe. It's all right.
You've been in a magazine, you've been in a music video.
Say what?
You've been in a magazine, you've been in a music video. You've been on stage. You got our newest best friend, Real Talk Kim, and that's just this year.
Yeah, the last month and a half or month.
Yep.
See, you put it like that. It goes back to perspective again, and we get so tangled up when we hear everybody else and we listen to everybody else and we read and listen to so much stuff that oftentimes, and I'll say it to y'all this way. I was leading our Bible study yesterday afternoon. I have a women's group that meets, and I was leading our Bible study yesterday afternoon. And I told him we were just going to be going over literally 8 scriptures. And it's probably, I don't know how long it's going to take us. And we went over 2 scriptures. And it's not unusual for me to get one scripture and mull it over for a month and get something different out of it every time because of a compound learning. And we read all these books and we listen to all these seminars and we go to all these events when honestly, we probably could just go to one and for 6 months have everything we need. But, and maybe it's just my crazy brain. I can hear your phone call, and I love this daily, mostly because of the energy I get from everybody, not just the learning, but just the love. But we hear things every day and we watch everybody else doing different things and blowing by and whatever. And it puts us into this crazy warped mind of what can I accomplish that's amazing today? When honestly, waking up and opening your eyes and taking in a deep breath is pretty flippin' amazing. Because there's a lot of people that didn't get that today. And we can't even be thankful for that. So this conversation is perfect for me, especially after last night. And then I woke up this morning. You got to get out of my head, Sean Murphy. I woke up this morning praying again. All right, God, what do I need to do? Where do I need to be? How do I need to be? You know, and sometimes it's just let him serve you by just being and sitting, and it's okay. So this conversation is kind of hitting me square between the eyes because I look at my life and I see when I'm in a negative state of mind, I see minimal accomplishments. And then I get on the phone with you and you start spouting things off and I'm like, oh, I should be thankful. And I should sit in a place of gratitude. And when I do, I can see the wealth that's around me. And that's huge. Does that make sense?
Perfect. And so if you look at a tree and we sit under its shade and the tree is 80% air, right? That's, at least I heard that on the golf course, right? When you're going to go hit through a tree, well, just hit through a tree. It's 80% air. But look at the abundance of leaves it has.
Mm-hmm.
Does one leaf feel any less significant than the other? There's an old Indian proverb. I don't know whether it was the Cherokee or the Redfoot, but they said no two branches are ever foolish to fight amongst themselves for the sunlight. So there's all of these branches, there's all of these leaves, and all of this abundance and all of this shade. And the shade doesn't really care whether you step in it or not, but the leaves, each one of them together, make this abundance, and they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we don't even sit and look at one leaf. We have all of these leaves in our life. We're all of these trees of success, and we forget to look at the leaves.
Yeah.
Is it okay sometimes the leaves change, sometimes the leaves fall off. Those are called seasons. But those leaves have made the tree every year. So be aware of the things that you've done. What happens is that because we have such quantum growth at some points in our life, look at spring. Don't we love when the trees are budding out and all of those beautiful, soft, little tender leaves, and it's a sign of the season changing? There's parts of your life right now that are budding out. And because we've had this amazing explosion of opportunities walk into our life, walk through our life, still part of our life, we sometimes forget this is just a season. I'm designed to have seasons of greatness. I'm also designed to have seasons of rest. And we're in the winter right now. I think down in Australia, they're in summer right now. So should we be sitting here complaining every day that, well, why aren't we at the ocean? Why aren't we at the beach today? It's 30 degrees. How come they get to go at the beach? Because they're at a different part of time. They're in a different part of the world. The world is tilted different for them. When you start to look at what you've done, and this is for everybody on the call, there's some pretty amazing things you've accomplished. Julie, you've got your hand raised. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, everybody. Whew, I just finished a set. Give me a second. All right. So I love what Ronda was saying. Like, honestly, I forget of what I've done in the past. And sometimes I tend to, I just want everything now. And I'm not appreciative of what I have. And this is just a comment. It's not a question. But I recall during the summer, guys, honestly, during the summer, when I used to come up to these calls and speak, I used to speak so fast, like extremely fast. I used to get so nervous. And even speaking about the business, I used to get extremely nervous. And now, now I slow down. I don't speak as fast as I used to. I'm super confident on what I do. And when I speak to somebody about what I do, I get straight to the point, I help them out. So I think what I want to just say is that, and to whoever's watching this call, if you're new into network marketing, to anything, just be appreciative and keep learning and apply what Sean teaches in this call and what everybody says, because it works. I have a week. Today marks a week that I've been watching all of Sean Murphy's video, daily awakening calls on YouTube. Because, I was just listening to it at the gym, but I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't applying anything. And now that I'm doing it, like in 1 week, I've seen so much progress in my business. I've seen so much progress. So I just wanted to say that I probably don't make sense, but it's okay. I hope you guys got something from that.
So listen, here's a little learning experience, my love. This is the third time I've heard you in some conversation go, well, you probably don't get it, or it probably doesn't make sense to you. You're selling yourself short. That's the old self going, if everybody gets this, all of a sudden I get elevated to the next level.
You're right.
Let us get it. We get it. Your delivery is amazing. Your conversation is incredible. And your connection is tremendous. So don't be afraid of more people falling in love with you. I know that sucks. I know you're going to have to deal with that.
I mean, I fell in love with it a little bit. But Sean, now you just brought up a question. I tend to say I'm sorry a lot. Like when I'm speaking,
Yes.
to a prospect or to whatever, to even a friend, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said that, or I'm sorry about this. And I tend to not understand why I have to apologize.
Well, that,
Like,
that comes from a wiring from childhood, right? That comes from you being either now, um, you've got so much credibility, you've got so much inventory, you've got the military experience, you've got success leading a command, you've got all of these things that because of your amazingness, because you're a powerful, strong woman, you just at some point feel you have to apologize. What could they say? Well, matter of fact, what do you know? Do you remember what they do say that you have to apologize for?
what do you mean? Like in the military, or
No,
just in life?
when you're having a conversation with a prospect or when you're presenting.
Oh, because sometimes I'm like way too straight up. So like I'm very blunt, and I tend to I don't know how to explain it.
So,
I,
so
mhm.
if you're going to be straight up and blunt, there's nothing you should have apologize for if they should expect you to be blunt and straight up. I would encourage you to set the stage better.
So like ask them the questions that you always ask, like are you okay to make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
I've been doing that.
Well, and you could add one more in there for you. Listen, I come out of the military, and sometimes I can be real straightforward. I can be. Some people even may call it blunt. So if I happen to be blunt with you or straightforward with you, uh, two things. One, let me know. But is that okay? Because that's
Mm,
just how I have a conversation. Because I'll watch it. I don't want to have to apologize for helping you achieve more success. Because that's what we're here for, right? You achieving more success, the prospect. So,
yes,
is it okay if we sometimes cut to the chase to get things done? And what you'll find out is they go, no, I absolutely love that. I'd rather it be that way.
got it. I mean, that's usually how it goes.
It is.
Like, oh, don't apologize. You know, I need it. I needed to hear
Exactly.
that.
So I would encourage you because every time you apologize, you take away the strength of your word.
Mm. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it.
You bet. Love you tons.
Love you too.
So this is what happens when we have these conversations, and sometimes it's the simplest things that cause us to have some issues. Natalie, you've got your hand raised. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I just wanted to say something because, like, I think this is so crazy, and I feel like this is really God speaking to me because there obviously are no coincidences in life. But this is the third time this week that I've come across this topic of discussion, and it's crazy how, I'm gonna be ending my week on this note, which I think is awesome for me, but this is the third time that like I've gotten, I guess you can say, a sign from God that it's just like he's just telling me to slow down. Like just slow down, just take a break and just not necessarily take a break, but just live in the moment, in the present, and be you know in such a state of gratitude that I'm not worried about what to do next, because I feel like I'm always on like go, 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 go. Like I work 2 jobs, and then I also am a part of I Am Academy. I also have, my team, my family, and then, I still try to trade on my free time, and then I hop on these calls, and like I'm always thinking about what to do next, like what to do next for the team, what to do next for myself. I also just signed the lease to my first home that I'm going to be moving into next month. And like, I'm just always on go. And then like, I feel like I get lost sometimes in myself. And I'm just like, I just think it's so amazing how this is like my third reminder this week to just really be present and just live in the now and, congratulate myself for getting this far and doing the things that I have been doing for, I guess, to say to better myself. I feel like I get so caught up in what everybody around me, like in my household. Like I still live with my parents, and my parents aren't really into the whole personal development thing and, you know, trading and whatever, you know, like my parents are used to that like 9 to 5 mindset, I guess you can say. And they're kind of closed-minded to what it is that I'm doing. Like they don't really understand why I'm doing it or what I'm doing. So I feel like I get caught up with, you know, their opinion of what it is that I'm doing and how they're looking at me. And, you know, they're always like trying to figure out what I'm going to do next and asking me what I'm going to do next and da 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 da. And I'm just like, third reminder this week, just live in the now, just really breathe. And, you know, like Rhonda was saying before, just really be in such a state of gratitude that you're aware and so appreciative of everything that you already have and everything that's already going for you. So I just really appreciate you and Rhonda and Julie for everything that you guys were saying, because it was literally just the third reminder this week. And I'm like, wow, this is the third conversation that I've had literally about this one thing. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
So a couple of things. I don't know if you just realized that when you said the last time you just said the third thing, that you actually touched your third eye.
I did. I went like this.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
So all of these things. So it's the other thing that I would encourage you to do, because of the resistance that is there between parents and you, is I just go thank them. I know it'll seem weird, but just thank them for giving you the courage to do the things you're doing. They may not understand it, they may not ever understand it, but thank them for giving you the courage to do something that you're excited about, because that's where you got it from. I mean, if those two didn't have their frustrations and their unique personalities, you wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, seriously.
So I would just, hey, listen, Mom, Dad, I know you don't necessarily get what I'm doing, but I just want to thank you for giving me the courage to do the things that I've done and thank them for just being them.
Yeah.
Right? The drive, the silent drive that pushes you, the silent drive that gets you to look at things a little bit differently. So just a suggestion.
Yeah, I think that'll be honestly really good for all of us, because, you know, like when my parents ask me about what I'm doing and things like that, and I get very passionate like when I talk, and sometimes to them it can come off as me being defensive, and I'm not. And I always try to explain that to them, like, you know, I'm not trying to be defensive. There's nothing for me to even defend, you know. I'm just talking, like I'm just passionate about what I'm talking about. But I think I'm definitely going to take your advice and thank them.
Have they ever said that they wanted more for you?
Yeah, they have.
And when they ask you, what are you doing? Say, I'm following the dream you've given me. I'm working on more for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
You bet. Awesome. I appreciate you, Natalie.
I appreciate you so much.
Stanley, we've got Stanley online too. Let's meet Stanley.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me?
I can hear you great, Stanley.
Wow, I just wanted to come on here and show my gratitude to everyone. Natalie, I appreciate you for what you was just saying. I know it definitely touched a lot of people. I definitely myself have to start living in the now and really slow down, because I feel like a lot of times I could be doing something, but my mind is just thinking about so many other stuff, like the future, my future plans, my goals. I want to thank Julie, because she said, like, at first when she was talking on call, she was speaking very fast, and I caught myself doing that, and I again have to slow down in that area. I want to thank Ronda. Ronda, I love you. I listen to you all the time. I love your accent, and you help so many women on these calls. But I also appreciate what you say. And again, I love your accent. So I love when Sean just lets you talk. And Sean, I want to really show my appreciation for you. Like, what you do on these calls, Sean, it literally makes such an impact. Like, you help so many people every single morning, and like the value you're giving us, it truly, truly makes an impact. And like me, myself, like I never had that type of impact before. And again, you help so many people. The way you talk to people, and when a lot of times I don't talk every single call, but a lot of times I do study you, and you really listen to people, and you really show love and appreciation for people. And ever since I started hopping on these calls, I see myself doing that. I'll be talking to somebody, and I always found myself to be a good listener, but now I really try to listen, and I really try to understand them, just like you. And I show more love and appreciation for people. I really try to make people have a better day, compliment them on anything. So I just want to say again, thank you for what you do. I told my team yesterday that if I ever see you in person, we're gonna hug for like a minute. Like I'm gonna hug you because I feel your energy off the phone. So I just know in person it's gonna be insane. So again, I thank you so much, Sean.
Well, Stanley, so a couple of things. One, make sure you take a moment today. I don't care if you drink a coffee or whatever, you go to Starbucks, if you do any of that kind of thing, get yourself a coffee and give yourself a reward for showing gratitude. Listen, I know it sounds crazy. Well, I'm supposed to be thankful, but you got to pay into people. You got to pay into to some heritage and to some history that has the potential of changing the trajectory of people's lives in that gratitude. Listen carefully. And when you do that, you've changed the world. You've made the world better for yourself. So you can't go, it's impossible to go give away a smile and make the world worse. It's impossible. And what you just did made the world better. It made it better for you, made it better for your kids. When you have them, if you have them, when you have them, it made it better for your grandkids. Everything we do today changes the world for everyone who's a part of our world. So thank you for that. I appreciate you for that. Thank you for being an amazing student. Thank you for being an incredible teacher. This is why all of you are why I do this every day. I honestly, I don't have to get up and do these calls. I love to do these calls. I get to do these calls. I get to join the robe crowd. I get to watch you all. I get to listen to you grow. Imagine if you had 63 kids every day. You got to, and they showed up at your school. 63 kids that were your kids, and they show up at your home. And every morning they sit around the coffee table and we have a conversation. That's how I look at this. Because you're not in my business, but we're in the business of building people, and that's what I want my family to do. So, Stanley, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Sean. I love you.
Love you too, man. How cool is this? I mean, where else? At what other time in the world would this be able to happen? Right? There would be cliques and communities and colors and races and creeds and religions, and they're no good and they need to be like us and they're not like us. And man, it's amazing. Manny, good morning, Manny.
Good morning, Mr. Sean.
Hey, Manny, I think I spoke to somebody who loved you yesterday.
Yes, you did. I was jealous all day.
What an amazing soul she is.
Thank you. But I know we kind of been on the same topic kind of all day.
Yeah, we can change it up. Manny's
but today is just a little bit different, although it falls in the same category. And it's absolutely crazy because I don't know if Neno's on the call, but I started reading the book that he was given by the monk. And the chapter I read yesterday, and it's crazy that that's the chapter I read yesterday, and that's today's topic. And I know sometimes we feel guilty by slowing down, and we feel like we could be doing more. But in this specific chapter that I read last night is that when we're in the state of gratitude and of feeling blessed, we're actually opening the portal to receive our blessings and to receive what it is that we desire. So when we take a moment and we're actually in that state of gratitude, it may feel like we're slowing down or we're being stagnant or we could be on a call or whatever it may be. But if you kind of put it into perspective, you're kind of just like sitting on a catapult, waiting to be launched to where it is that you really want to go. So my comment is to kind of just, when you are grateful, to not feel guilty about being grateful and about feeling blessed, because you're opening that portal. You're like it says in that book, you're putting yourself on that transmission to be able to receive everything it is that you truly do desire. So I just wanted to say that because that's absolutely crazy that that's the chapter I read last night. And I couldn't just let it pass by. So thank you, Sean.
Hey, did Manny's voice slow down for anybody there? Did you all just hear that connection? Manny, you got it.
Yep.
Listen, Manny, when you just started saying that, you know how sometimes Zoom, the connection, it goes, and you were slowing.
Oh my God.
You gotta go listen to the recording, buddy. I swear to goodness. Swear to goodness, it was hysterical. You're going, and it's just, we have to. No.
Oh my God.
Listen, if
Oh
you guys
my
don't think
God.
there's a higher power than us, I right there proves it.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
my God.
I'm
it says
telling
slow
you,
down.
slow down. And here's the thing: we're all in the Lamborghini bikini business model, driving by at prospects and driving by our greatness and driving by our joys at 90 miles an hour, going, "Get in, get in!" And we think because we had the door open, they should get in. I know this is contrary. Y'all are hearing it in other places, but I get crap from other teachers and other mentors and other trainers when their people get on my call and they go, "Dude, it's the end of the month. Why are you telling everybody to slow down?" I go, "But you had your best month ever." "Yeah, but that had nothing to do with it." Okay, you're right. I'm rich. Let's move on. So, Manny, I promise you, when you go back and listen to the recording, it's funny. Just as you were saying it, you literally, that voice and slowed down.
I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared to go watch it now.
It's funny. We're all sitting here. I was watching the screen, see if it was slowing down for everybody or if it was just slowing down for me. But it's funny, and it was clear. That's the funny thing. Normally, it gets choppy and you can't hear it. But it compressed it all there at one point. Once you got done with it, we should all slow down. And that's really what I wanted to tell you today. It was so cool.
Hey, Sean, can I say something real quick?
Please. Good morning, Monique.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? So I was listening to a video the other day that Will Smith had put up. And I always watch his stuff because he cracks me up. You know, I love watching him. And he said something in the video talking about what love is and how to love somebody else and how to love yourself. And he gave an analogy of the farmer and the seed mentality. And he said, if you watch a farmer, if you think about what a farmer does, they plant a seed, let's just say sunflowers, and they expect sunflowers to grow, but they don't expect anything more than that sunflower to be the best, most beautiful sunflower it can be. And the farmer trusts the process. They do what they have to do to get that sunflower to grow, and they don't rush it. They can't rush it. They have no control over it, and they have to wait. And there's a season for things, and there's a season for, other things that are, or not. There's not a season for certain things. So I thought that was really interesting, and it really made me think about how I treat myself and how I cultivate relationships with other people. That you have to stop looking at people and your relationships with people as how can I make them what I want them to be, or how can I make myself what I want to be? How about make yourself what you're already designed to be? There's no really thought that needs to go into that other than to cultivate what you're already designed to be. It's already there. And like you said, just slow down, be patient with the process, and just love it. That's all you have to do. So I thought that was a really beautiful analogy, and it's been on my mind all week. So that's it.
Monique, thank you for sharing that. If you guys are ready to have another little mind-blowing 45 seconds, just type MD in the chat if you want to have another little mind-blowing conversation. Okay. So, where you are at right now, listen carefully. Where you are at right now, the greatness that is inside of you, that resides inside of you, that has been poured inside of you by the Creator, the greatness that's inside of every one of you right now, the only thing that's required is to remove the non-greatness. That's it. Just when they asked Michelangelo when he made David, they go, how did you make David how did you make this beautiful statue? He says, I chippy away everything that's not David. My point is, when you listen, Linda, listen. How is it possible? I'm going to use me as an example, and many of you on this call as an example. How is it possible that we can have a relationship that's at such a level that A, we say, I love you, and we mean it. I believe you mean it when you say it to me. How can we have a relationship that is so open, that is so vulnerable, that is so real, and yet we've never met? How is that possible? It's not because we put a bunch of time into our relationship. Listen carefully. It's because we got to the relationship part that didn't need time. Y'all hear that? We decided, you allowed me, I allowed you, you allowed me to get to a point in our conversation, in our relationship, that didn't require the rest of time. Now, if that's possible in a relationship with you and me, what's possible with the relationship between you and your goal? Does that make sense? You see why taking your inventory allows you to mess with time? Ronda and I have known each other for a year, a little over a year. December was a year. I dare say we're as close as any brother and sister who have been around for 30 years. Monique and I have had conversations. We've literally spent 3 hours together, 4 hours together. Julie and I have spent 4 hours together, 5 hours together. Nano and I have spent quite a bunch of time together. Well, how is it possible that we can get on a call and in 30 minutes we can have a relationship that's life-changing? Both life-changing for me and for many of you, life-changing for you. Because I decide that I'm going to remove all of the requirements of a relationship that used to require time. Does that make sense? Do you see how all of a sudden that if you wanted to create the six-figure income, it just requires you to remove everything that's not six-figure income-ish. It doesn't have to be hard. I promise you, nobody wakes up faster when they make six figures a month than when they make six figures a year. They don't wake up any faster. They don't go to sleep any faster. They don't drink water any faster. They don't eat any faster. They just take away all of the things that aren't bad. When you want to have a relationship, It's easy to see distraction. It's easy to see dust on your car. It's easy to see conflict in a relationship. Now, do brothers and sisters typically argue? Yeah. Are you allowed to say that on a call this early in the morning? You follow me? Rhonda and I should have had 1,001 arguments. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't yell and scream at me when I'm not on the phone. Maybe she has them all and they're all if you need to respond to that, Rhonda, you can.
No, it's just if I try to argue with you, the first thing you go is, and they will know we are Christians because, and I just have to throw my hands up in the air. So you just stop me every time I want to argue, which is good. It's good. Or if you don't say that, you go, and we're trying to walk in. And I'm like, forgiveness.
Yeah, but I really want to argue about that. Okay. You can sit in the back. How did I get to this point? I got here because I was tired of missing it. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I really didn't. I grew up on a farm. When the vet is a good friend, that for a kid, had our neighbors, had the Amish. They really weren't doing a whole lot of throwing footballs around and stuff. My dad was a traveler. My dad was vice president of sales of a major steel company. So he was always traveling. My brothers went off to college. So it was me and the cows, 200 head of cattle and chickens and pigs and horses. And then when I went to school, I loved school. I always loved school, whether it's grade school or high school. Why? Because I actually, I wasn't working on the farm and there were people to talk to, kids my own age. Every time I was part of an organization, I was the one who did the most for the organization. And I really wasn't doing a whole lot. I was just being present. So I say all of that to say this. I consider friendships wildly important to me. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I know why I'm getting emotional. But you are also very important to me. Watching you grow, being able to take on the mantle of leadership in our world, which is desperately needed. So when I take inventory of my life, each one of you are part of that inventory, part of my friend. If you're here for just one call, I got to give you all I got. You can't say, well, okay, I got a part of it. Let's see if tomorrow's any better. It's the best every day. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you. When I take inventory of my life, y'all are part of it. Brianna, you got your hand raised. Good morning, Brianna. Rhonda, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I have a question, but talk to Brianna and then you can come back to me.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Rhonda, if you want.
Oh yeah, because I'm next then.
Okay, so I'll ask a quick question then, and you can ponder this thought, Sean. But just because of the way I'm thinking and the way I am, you say when you said that quote about how did you carve out David, and he said, I chip you away everything that's not David. And you're saying basically you're teaching us how to take a quantum leap by getting rid of the time factor and already thinking the way we need to think and getting rid of the things we don't need to get to that place to take that quantum leap. So because of how my brain works, what does that look like? Give me some discipleship on that. What does that look like to lay down the things we don't need?
What that looks like, hold on. That's okay. What that looks like to me is when I have a conversation with you, I look at all of the things that you're becoming, and I already speak to what's become.
So that's how we should speak to ourselves, what's becoming.
Well, it should be. Sometimes we can't see it because we're the forest from the trees.
Right.
It's why we need mentorship. It's why we need discipleship. It's why we need somebody to say, "What? Good God! What do I do anything right?" And they go, oh, alphabetically or of importance. I don't care. Start either way because I think I'm just a pile of dung heap over here. Do I? And I have this question, and that's why I talk with you. Do I do anything right? And you're like, are you serious? Because it's the ego. The ego is the ability to slow things down. Ego is what's edging God out, right? Mm-hmm. That's what ego stands for. And when we can adjust it, because ego is not a bad thing to have if we know how to use it, kind of like a sharp knife. So when I talk to Julie, I look at this amazing soul who's got all of these things going for her and won't take credit for any of them. When I see a Manny who's standing outside in the cold, having a conversation, who everybody thinks he's an absolute nut job because he's on this conference call, taking his break or doing whatever he's doing. It's not like he's inside having coffee. He's outside doing whatever it is he does, but he's still on this call. So he's this oddball extraordinaire. I talked to somebody who's very dear to him yesterday who absolutely loves everything about him. If we can see the people, if we can see the finished David in everybody, how would our conversations change? There's sometimes when you speak to your amazing, beautiful daughter, you speak to her as the nine-year-old. She's at 9? 8. 8. Okay, I thought it was 8. She's this amazing 8-year-old, but you're also speaking to her as this woman. You're also giving her examples as this beautiful woman who's inspiring the world. That's if you can speak to all those souls. When you speak to DJ or you speak to all of these people, and you speak them. And you see them at their greatest, even though they're at their weakest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just cleaning up the rest of my internal dialogue.
Yep. It's why when you were running through the fields last night, your hair on fire, and I went, that sounds awesome.
Don't you feel
okay.
Don't you feel sorry for my poor husband? Y'all pray for my husband. He has to live with me. Oh, Lord.
So that's how that works. Does that help?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Brianna and Latoya, for letting me ask that question.
No problem at all. And good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you wonderfully, Brianna.
Okay. So I actually have a story for you all on what happened yesterday. Something amazing happened. And so I actually had my one of my events last night. And what's funny was yesterday morning, there was actually supposed to be 4 people total, including myself, that were in my group or are in my group that presented. And with scheduling conflicts, it was only I was the only person that was able to make it. And so when I found out, that my team members, which really I really call it my family, so my family was not going to be able to make it to the event, I immediately kind of felt like down, and I was like, okay, can I really do like that? Doubt factor started to come in. And what's crazy is I just sat down and I took a couple deep breaths in, and I didn't hear your voice, but I heard what you say all the time and what we've been talking about on these calls is with the do less, be more, and being in the moment. And for me, what I get from a lot of your messages is really just being in the moment and obviously showing that gratitude. And I like what Manny said earlier today, being in that state of gratitude so that you can just be in a position to be catapulted to the next level, to the next destination. And so as soon as that came into my mind, you guys know I have, or recently I've been having kind of aha moments with the Bible app, but oh my gosh, this app. So I opened it yesterday, and the verse of the day says, "Be yourself, you're unprotected. With a friend, you can face the worst. Can you round up a third? A 3-stranded rope isn't easily snapped." Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I read that, I was like, okay, that's a message, but I'm the only person that's gonna be at this event. And so I was like, where's the other 2 people? Like, where's my 3-stranded rope? But I was like, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and go for it. And so when I said that, I kid you not, I heard, have any of you guys watched Rocky? The theme song, that dun 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 dun. And so that started playing in my head, and I was like, okay, I got this. And so I show up to the event. Well, before I get to that, so I play the Rocky music, and I went out to run an errand. And as I'm running the errand, I get an RSVP on my phone from a random number, but one of our people that we've been prospecting. And I was like, okay, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. And so I go get ready for the event, go to the event, and my event started at 7:00, guys. 7:00. And I'm got everything set up. I got the music playing, the vibe is right and everything. And right before I had actually left, I wrote down in my journal, and this is what has me like shaking, but I wrote down in my journal that I showed up and 2 people walked in, and then out of nowhere, a group of 5 came to the event, right? And so I'm waiting at 7:00. I show up and I'm waiting, and 2 people walk in, but they're not for the event. They're actually the owners and the of the venue that I was in. And so I was like, okay, like I had a conversation with them and was interacting with them. And then they ended up leaving, and I go outside, and I was waiting for people to start walking in. And so I think it was like 7:20 or 7:25, and I looked at my watch and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it until like 7:30, right? I'm gonna give it till 7:30, because I was standing outside for like a good 10-15 minutes, just waiting for people to come in. And so I kid you not, at 7:28, I walk back in the venue, walk upstairs, and as I'm walking upstairs, I hear a car alarm, and I look outside, and there's a car, and there's 3 girls that walk out the car. And I walk back downstairs and walk outside, and I asked them, like, hey, are you guys here for the Money Mixer event? And they were like, yeah. And so I was like, okay, it's over here. And so we walk inside, and we had the most amazing event. One of the girls actually, she and I really resonated very well, because we both played basketball, both had a run-in with the end of our basketball career and not knowing what to do after that. So she and I resonated well. And then there was another girl there. We went to the same college, so she and I were able to connect as well. But what's crazy is, so these girls, at the end of the event, we got a chance to sit down and really talk, because I also heard what you say as well, just being in that moment and listening to what they're saying. And so when when we sat down, they first just came out and said, we almost didn't make it to the event. And I was like, well, I'm so glad you came. Like, you showed up and said yes to yourselves. And the girl that her name's actually Deja, but Deja, the one that I resonated with basketball, she was like, it's crazy because at like, so mind you, my event starts at 7. She said around like 5:45, 6 o'clock, they were debating whether they were going to come. And they actually decided to open up the Bible, point to a random verse. And in that verse, they because it was like a random thing, they didn't remember what specific verse it was. But the verse was basically saying generational wealth and passing on these valuable things to your next generation. And my group's name is called Generational Wealth, guys. Like, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so they said that they read that, and they also were having discussions about like school systems and religious institutions and things like that. Like, they were just, you know, really deep in conversation with things like that. And so they flipped a coin twice. Flipped a coin twice to decide if they were going to for sure come. And they actually live an hour away from me. So they decided at 6 o'clock that they were going to make this event that started at 7 o'clock. And they got there right at 7:30 when I was almost about to leave. Like, I kid you not, I was literally about to pack up my stuff and leave. And I heard that car alarm, and I was like, yo, this is nothing but the spirit just working like fantastically, like working perfectly in alignment. And so I mentioned that they had said that they've been talking with each other. These three girls have been talking with each other about the school system and religious institutions. Well, I've actually been reading a couple days ago, I hopped on Nano's call, and he mentioned the book Outwitting the Devil. And I've been reading that book, and everything that they talked about clearly like aligned with the topics that was in the book. And I was just like, yo, this is nothing but the spirit. This is amazing. And so after they shared all of that with me, I shared Outwitting the Devil, and I even shared like excerpts of the book with them, and they were really intrigued. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to share this Bible verse with them. So I shared the verse with them, and they literally all three of their mouths just dropped, and they were just like smiling, and they were like, Bree, it's crazy because they think of themselves as like literally a rope. Like, they said that they hug, like they do group 3-way hugs a lot. And they say that the way that their arms are held, it's literally like a rope. And when they said that, like, even now I'm starting to get a little emotional because it was just perfectly aligned. And I was like, that's just amazing. Like, I got this word, and I thought it was for me, but it had nothing to do with, I mean, it partly had, something to do with me for attracting them, but it was about the girls. And I was just like, whoa, that's just crazy. Like, I'm still on cloud like 1,000 because of the amazing experience I had last night. Like, it was amazing. Whew. But I just wanted to share that. I hope everybody has a great day. I love you all.
So, Bree, in God's perfect timing, right?
Yes.
And for you to slow down and be quiet enough to hear the alarm, right? All of these things that it still requires you to go do stuff. We can't sit on the couch and eat bonbons and go, law of attraction, come to me. We've got to be out there doing stuff. And we've got to be aware, and your reticular activating system was allowing you to pay attention to the details, the subtleties that God puts in our way, because he wants to make sure we're ready for the blessings, because he doesn't want it to be lost. But in every breath, it's always there. That's the crazy thing. In every breath, it's always there. So I applaud you. Thank you for sharing that. I have no doubt it changed some people's lives this morning during that conversation.
Thanks, man. This is beautiful. The daily awakening. Every day even on this calls and after this calls, I'm just like, oh, like I feel like I walk through life and I just hear the heavens just. Oh. But thanks, man. Have a great day. Love you.
Thank you. It's because every curl in your hair is an antenna. Love you. Oh, let's see. Latoya, did you want to share?
Yes. Good morning. You all.
Oh, she's breaking up. She must have something really good to say because she's breaking up.
Gooder and gooder. Right? So it's like I asked the universe, like, why I'm so great at attracting great people? Why am I surrounded by great people? And answer was because I made a committed decision and I took massive action. This is my result. But when I stay on this path, it raises my self-awareness. I just want to thank you all just for being committed to be on these and taking massive action, and I thank you, Sean, because this part of my morning routine, and I look forward to this because at first it was like, dang, oh my God, 7:30, oh my God, I take my children to school, I does this, I does that, but it was like it came to me, said, Toya, that sound like excuses why you trying to put a lid on your growth. Pop the lid, get on these calls at 7:30 every day, literally like clockwork. I'm on it every day. And I just want to thank you, Sean, for the aha moments and just also put me in that space where I could take the massive action, I could take it and run with it, not just sit there and say, well, let me think about it. Let me let me just wait or things like that. But I thank you all for this. I thank you all just being amazing and being transparent. It allowed me to be more transparent as well, because I was one of those, I used to be kind of content, be quiet. I just be like, didn't want to share my business, But it's good. It's good to be honest. It's good to be transparent. It's good to be open, but without feeling any judgment coming in return. So I just want to thank you, Sean, and just keep being the trailblazer that you are. And my life in so many ways. My children hears you. They're like, oh, that's. I heard him. He just said, "Good morning, everyone." So they all dropped them off at school. So yes, thank you so much. And y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Love you, Latoya. Thank you. HG, go ahead, HG.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Outstanding.
Wonderful, wonderful. Definitely want to show some gratitude. Thank you so much for everything you do consistently every single morning. Thank you to everyone that's on the call that shares their stories, testimonies, gratitude. It definitely helps. I don't know if you remember me from a few days ago. I had the question about my friend and I said something disrespectfully, or I asked, was it disrespectful? And you may not remember, but you definitely gave me a resolution, and the resolution that you gave me was, if you've reached out to him to apologize, because sometimes, if you've been friends for 10 plus years, if you are truly friends and you love each other, hey man, I messed up, I'm sorry, let's not be upset about this. And you said if I reached out to him and he doesn't, reach back out, you know what that means, or what it could possibly mean. But update, I don't know what type of energy was flowing through the conversation we had, because literally like the next day he called me and was like, hey man, I know we haven't been talking, I'm sorry, I got your apology. So that's definitely an awesome update. And I just want to expound on the fact that I truly am grateful, man, because a lot of mornings it's extremely hard for me to wake up, but that story that the young lady just told about her event and the 3 young ladies just touched my spirit. It really did, and motivated me even more, and just confirmed that I have to start getting up to catch these testimonies, to catch this gratitude, to just be around this community and this energy, because it really, really, really has lifted my spirits. And if it's lifted my spirits, then that eventually is going to transfer on to everybody that I cross paths with throughout the rest of my day. It's going to become a ripple effect. So once again, thank you to you, Sean, and thank you to everybody on this call that's doing their part in just showing love, because we need to see much more of that every single day.
We do, and I appreciate that, HG. And I'm so glad to hear the the way the energy flows between you and that 10-year relationship. Congratulations on that. So know that you're a big part of the reason that is moving in the right direction. Thanks for making the world better for me and for my family. I appreciate you.
Same. You have a great day.
Thanks, brother. Woods, is it Kaia? How would I think you had your hand raised earlier. I'm not sure if you wanted to share something.
It's Kaia. Good morning.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's put a 54-year-old white guy on a call with a bunch of hotties with like Dominican and Latino and and some strong African American background. And let's let him try to say our names.
It's okay. It's okay. I actually put my hand down earlier just because the topic had changed and I was just inspired by other people talking. But good
Well,
morning. Hi, Stan.
I felt something with your hand up. That's why I wanted to go back to you. So.
Okay. Well, just to go back to what we were talking about slowing down. So I'm 21 years old and I am a chemistry pre-med major in college. Currently, I'm in my third year, and I tend to like take on that like leadership role, all the time. I'm the oldest in my family, and I'm always just like, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm just like, I have to be responsible for so many things. And last semester, I ended up getting a stomach ulcer and I had to go to the ER, and it was just a whole bunch of things. I was missing days of school and everything like that. And the nurse practitioner was just like, you have so many signs of stress and you are so young. That does not make sense. Like you need to go meditate, go see a counselor, do something, because whatever this is, it's affecting your health. And so it really made me like sit down, because it was just like, if you don't slow down, your body will make you. And I feel like God really put me in that situation, just be like, you're trying to be too many things. And there's just different ways to navigate that. So I just wanted to come on and share that story, because it did help me realize that I can't do everything on my own. I had to ask for help. I had to get other people on my team, like shout out to Natalie and Stanley that have talked on this call. They're on my team, they're my family. So like, if I need anything, they're there for me. And I know that I can delegate responsibility to them. They know that they can delegate responsibility to me, and we're in everything together. I'm not by myself. And so that lowers the stress. Being on these calls lowers my stress. I struggle with getting up in the morning, like what the gentleman was saying previously before that, just because I have class every day and stuff, but that's just an excuse. So I got up extra early today. I don't know if you guys saw me with my camera on, but I was cleaning my room. I had a bad case of depression room earlier. So I was just like, I just have to get rid of this. I have to get rid of all of this, because it is cluttering my mind. And when I clutter my mind, then I get stressed and everything like that. So it's just making sure, just taking those steps every day to make sure that I am doing what I need to do to not only be successful, but also just to keep the longevity of myself and my peace, because that's what really matters. So that's all I really had to say.
So, question for you.
Yes.
Would it be okay if it changed?
If what changed?
If your stress changed?
You mean like if I didn't have stress anymore?
No, if it changed. You're a high-strung individual. You'll find something else to focus on. What if? Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. So what if your focus was totally on love and being at peace? What if that was your main focus? Because you're not gonna lose your focus. What if the stress changed? What if it morphed into something else? What if it morphed into joy?
That would be amazing.
So when would you like that to happen?
Right now.
So go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay.
And in closing your eyes, just take a big breath in. And the super consciousness that exists around you, the super consciousness that exists around you, that exists inside you, this awareness of all of the things around you, I wanted to go ahead and adjust that story. I wanted to go ahead in that greatness that exists inside of you. I wanted to go ahead and heal that decision that being less than no longer needs to be. I want you to be able to understand that the joy that's sitting inside of you is being held down by this desire for you to not be at your best. The idea of the stress, I wanted to go ahead and heal it right now, to be able to work on it right now, that this is happening inside of you. This is the higher consciousness. This is the God's gift to you, to be able to adjust this and change the story right now. So if all of a sudden stress was no longer there, and you were focused on love, you were able to hear things at a whole new level. You were able to hear the songs in people's voices, because you slowed down just a little bit. And in your slowing down, you were able to do so much more. It's not that you're not more focused. It's not that you're not any less. The super consciousness is healing us right now. It's allowing you to retell the story. It's allowing you to rewire at such a level that you're going to have peace in your everyday. And when you have this peace in every day, the smiles of people around you get even bigger, get even more. And it's not because it's taking anything from you. It's that you're actually giving it away.
Wow. I did not expect to cry on this call. Definitely had something to release. So thank you.
In this moment, how do you feel now?
I feel at peace. I feel really chill now.
Anybody notice her voice slow down?
Yeah.
That's all we're looking for, my love.
Wow.
Seriously, that's all we're looking for. Is to be able to for you to slow down long enough for us to hold on to you. And in holding on to you, we get to lift you. Is it okay if I lift you up?
Absolutely, please. I really don't do it for myself enough. I'm gonna be honest, I don't.
So, but here's the challenge. When you slow down a little bit, there's so much more love that comes to you.
I love you, Natalie.
So thank you for being on the call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Throw some hearts out for her. Please say your first name again so I say it right.
Kaia.
Kaia. Please throw some hearts out for Kaia.
Thank you.
This is what we get to do. This is what happens when you listen. This is what happens when you fall in love with people and you take away the time that would normally happen to fall in love with you. Well, there you go, folks. RBP, any last words?
No, I think everything has summed up quite beautifully with that last meditation. That was phenomenal, and it reminded me to slow down. And the last thing I wrote down after watching you go through that with her, this is the last bit of notes, is where is my joy? Who is the author of my joy? And do I control who I allow to author my joy? So just listen to you talk with her and change the energy around her. A sense of calmness came over and a sense of choice as to what I allow my state of being to go into or come around me. So that really ministered to me listening to y'all go through that. So that lifted me up. And I think everybody else on the call would probably say the exact same thing.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Another amazing call. Thank you for everybody that showed up. And sometimes, just like Bree's event, you got to wait till just about when you thought it was over to have one more breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love y'all. Y'all say bye to each other. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Tomorrow it's 8:30 Central Time. Y'all love each other.
Love y'all. Love you.
Bye, everyone. Love you
guys. Have a good night.
See y'all tomorrow.
Love y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sean. Everybody have a blessed day.
Love you guys.
Positive blessings. Everybody have a wonderful day. Hey, Sean.
God is good.
He is. Oh my goodness. And she is too.
Love you all.
Love y'all.